He was born in Queens, into the family of a builder who could turn empty lots in New York into whole neighborhoods. His father started with single-story cottages for workers, grew into thousands of apartments across the city, and taught his son the main rule. In this country, concrete and brick are the language of power. The boy grew up in a mansion on the outskirts, surrounded by talk of estimates, contractors, and deadlines. From an early age, he saw entire streets rise from blueprints and realized that his destiny was not a modest continuation of the family craft, but a greedy leap higher. As a teenager, he was sent to a military academy. Discipline, schedule, parades. Then came Pennsylvania, the Wharton School, a tough, practical school of money, economics, finance, deals. He returned to New York with a simple plan. Take what his father had built and grow it to the size of skyscrapers. He had no intention of being just another developer. He wanted to become a symbol of the city, like yellow taxis and the evening lights of Fifth Avenue. In the early 1970s, he took over the family company and began hunting for dinosaurs, old hotels and properties that others considered hopeless. He looked for what could be turned inside out, negotiate tax breaks, repackage the facade, attract a new flow of guests. In his mind, the formula was clear. A deal was not just square footage. It was the story you sold. When his own glass monolith rose in the heart of Manhattan, nearly 60 floors above Fifth Avenue, with a lobby atrium and the shine of polished brass, the whole city saw that he was not just building structures, but a stage for his own name. Then came Atlantic City. Casinos seemed like a gold mine, fast cash flow, an endless stream of gamblers. Titles like the biggest, the most expensive. He financed projects aggressively. Through high-yield bonds, money was costly, but it allowed him to open on time and with grandeur. A giant palace complex with chandeliers and carpets, where every column seemed to whisper that debt could be ignored if the shine was blinding enough. But interest never forgets. Within a year of the grand opening, one of his casinos couldn't meet its payments. He had to negotiate with bondholders, giving them equity to save the empire and move on. That's when he learned another rule of business. Sometimes, a fall is just a bargaining position. He loved not only deals, but also the spotlight. He wrote a book about how he fought in negotiations, a book that turned a developer into a character. And then he made the move that would bring not just money, but massive profit. He turned himself into a show. Television gave him a stage where he was the judge, mentor, and lightning strike of the verdict all at once. Ratings worked like a printing press. Millions from seasons, hundreds of millions from licensing deals, and the right to put his name on everything from mattresses to skyscrapers. This was his most successful career upgrade. Viewers believed in the image, and bankers believed in the numbers. At the same time, he bought the rights to another kind of stage, to crowns, smiles, and TV cameras. Beauty pageants became yet another screen for his brand. And when the noise around him grew too loud, he sold the asset just as quickly, moving forward without looking back. He knew how to step into the light and step out of it when money, reputation, or the next bet demanded it. This is how he made his millions, a mix of concrete and television, leverage and legend. In real estate, management fees, development commissions, equity stakes in projects, refinancing, and land value growth after repositioning. In media, royalties and huge licensing agreements. In branding, the most profitable of all, when you're paid just for the plaque, with your name at the entrance, while others take on the risk of building and running the property. He earned from what people saw, the sign, the promise, the story they bought when they stepped into a lobby with gleaming railings. He didn't always win. Loans crushed, the press relished his failures. Lawyers hauled stacks of documents from court to court. But in his universe, defeat was just an episode, never the finale. He survived cash crunches, restructured debts, handed equity to creditors, and returned to development like an artist leaving the stage for a minute, only to come back for an encore, louder than before. By the mid-2010s, his name was louder than most brands in New York. He saw that the country was tired of careful phrases and politicians speaking in instruction manuals. He had always known how to read an audience, and now he decided to see how far he could go, speaking just like in a TV studio, fast, bold, without regard for protocol. They said he had no experience. He answered with speeches where experience was replaced by confidence, and confidence by ratings. And by 1 November, in one very long year, he did what only the most self-assured entrepreneurs dare to dream of. He took the seat that draws the gaze of the entire planet. Power became an extension of his brand. Every word a headline. Every gesture a signal to markets, allies, and opponents. For some, he was a figure speaking truth without a filter. For others, a storm breaking familiar shores. But even his critics admitted, very few people had turned attention into capital so skillfully. He built his career on the strength of his name, and put that name at the top of the political pyramid. If you strip it down, the formula is simple but rarely repeatable. First, legacy and an entry ticket. He took a ready-made construction machine and accelerated it into a pressure cooker. Second, aggressive leverage. Expensive money for expensive projects. Risk as a daily routine. When bets paid off, he was in the front row. When they failed, he changed the rules at the negotiating table. Third, media. Create a persona that people trust more than numbers in a report. Fourth, monetizing the name. Buildings, TV shows, pageants, merchandise, licenses. Fifth, politics. Not as the final act, but as the culmination of a path where the viewer, investor, and voter merge into one audience. His biography reads like a parable about a country, where capital is not just money, but attention. He came from a world of ledgers and estimates, but realized the most valuable resource was airtime. He built skyscrapers, but his greatest skyscraper was his own name, in giant letters, visible from afar. And when the curtain finally fell, we could say without riddles what everyone already knew: the boy from Queens, the developer's son, the TV host, the beauty pageant owner, the Atlantic City player, and the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.